Sit back, make sure you got a pen and paper, and we're going to go ahead and get this bad boy rolling.
Hello. Can I go?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Hey, guys. Welcome to the call. We're going to get started here. But before we get started, hey, beautiful baby. We are Mike and Tara Kirkpatrick from Lake Norman, North Carolina. We are so excited to be with you guys tonight. I'm going to share our story real quick with you guys because we're really excited to talk to you tonight about goals and goal setting because this is perfect timing leading into the 2020. It could not be better timing. So real quick, we actually got introduced to Herbalife 10 years ago in November. I was actually deployed to the Middle East. I was in the Air Force for 16 years, got started on the products over there for energy, and the side effect for me was weight loss. I lost 25 pounds in my first 6 weeks. I came home, brought the products to Mike. He was super skeptical, and I started feeding him shakes. He dropped 35 pounds over the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, which was incredible. So he fell in love with the products, guys, but wanted nothing to do with the business. So here's the key. If you have a skeptical spouse or somebody in your life that might be a little bit skeptical, no worries at all. I got him to a training, and that's the key, guys. I got him to a training event out in San Antonio. It'll be 10 years in January that we went to that event, and everything changed for us. What we saw there, guys, was average everyday people making well above average income. We came back, we put a plan together, and we started working like crazy. And guys, this goal setting, the reason we're so passionate about it is because that is what has changed everything for me, okay? And Mike, this is what has set us up for such an incredible business. And what happened was we came back with goals. We put pen to paper. We got a plan of action. Within 2 years, we were able to fire his boss of 26 years at Ingalls. He was a corporate buyer. I was able to do the business full time. And within that first 2.5 years, we were able to start making $10,000 a month and have never made less than that, guys. And what's really cool is we feel like we're just getting started. So you guys are absolutely at the right place at the right time, and we're excited to share with you. So I would love to start our call tonight on goal setting with a little video from an incredible speaker. His name is Mr. Zig Ziglar. We had an awesome training on personal development from our Get 2.5 leaders, Meg and Alan. And if you are looking for some personal development, Zig Ziglar is a great way to go with that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that.
I was raised in a little town of Yazoo City, Mississippi. Now, I know that a lot of folks go around the country trying to impress people by claiming to be from Yazoo City. But I really am. Now, when I was a boy, during the Depression, we lived next door to some rich folks. I knew they were rich for two reasons. Number one, they had a cook. Number two, the cook had something to cook. And during the Depression, that was a sure sign of wealth. I was over there for lunch one day, as I tried to be every day. And now don't misunderstand that. Even though there was a depression on, we certainly had plenty to eat at my house. I know we had plenty because if they ever passed my place for seconds, they'd always tell me, no, you've had plenty. So I know we had plenty. Now, the cook brought the biscuits out, and this is not an exaggeration. Those biscuits were not as thick as my wrist was. And I looked at her for a moment. I said, Maud, what in the world happened to your biscuits? She reared back, gave a big old tummy laugh, and said, well, I'll tell you about those biscuits. She said they squatted to rise. But she said they just got cooked in the squat. You know anybody that's getting cooked in the squat? You know anybody who's going to do something just as soon as, or they're half a mind to do such and such a thing? You ever have anybody say, well, you know, wait till the kids get out of school and then I'll really get involved in this project. We got so many things going on right now. Wait till they're out of school. Wait till summertime comes and then I'll really get busy. The kids get out of school, you know what they say then? Well, you know, I didn't realize that I got to take the kids somewhere every day. I had more time when they were in school. Wait till they get back in school and then I'll really get busy. Kids get back in school, you know what they say then? Well, you know, for the first time in 19 years, dear old Central High has finally got a winning football team, and you got to support the kids there. Wait after the football season is over, then I'll really get busy. Football season, then, you know what they say then? Well, here it is Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and people don't want to be bothered with this sort of thing this time of year. Wait after the first of the year, man, then I'll really get busy. You know what they say? Well, it's the weather. Did you ever see weather like this in Chicago or San Francisco or Dallas or wherever? Wait till the weather settles down and then I'll really get busy. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I've lost interest in it, but that's not the way I do things. Let me tell you the way I do things. Now, here's the way I am. So, this is just the way I do it. I do things is I get everything organized. I get it lined up. I have everything in just such and such order. And then, man, once I get it all put together, that's when I really get after it. I mean, that's just the way I've always been that way. Do things that way. I know some of these other folks are ahead of me right now, but you just wait. I'll catch them. But this weather, it is just so horrible. Wait till it clears up. And the weather clears up. You know what they say then? Well, here it is. It's Easter time. And Easter time, you know, that's a family time. And we always spend a lot of time together. And you said so yourself. The family is extremely important to you. You do the work for the family. And if you can't spend some time with them, you might as well not do all the work. I mean, wait after Easter's over, then I'll really get busy. And then after Easter, you know what they say? At long last, we've got some beautiful weather. And I haven't hit a golf ball or wet a hook, and I don't know when. Man, I got to have some R&R. I got to have some rest and relaxation. And you know, you said you can't work all the time. I mean, they get after a little bit, you know, or when they have the fun and relaxation, then they say, well, it's almost time for the kids to get out of school. And that's where we came in. As we say down home, folks, you can put this in your pipe and smoke it, because it's the truth. The people who wait for Aunt Matilda to move out, or John to get on the day shift, or the new models to come out, or the new mayor to come in, or for the new advertising campaign to get started. The people who wait on the new senator in Washington, or until inflation slows or the rate of interest come down. The people who wait for changes to take place out there before they do the changing in here are flat going to end up getting cooked in the squat. The rule is simple. You do it now. You do it now.
Love it. So there's lots of information in there. I love it. So we definitely don't want to end up getting cooked in the squat for sure. I'm going to go ahead and share this. All right. So if you're just joining us tonight, guys, welcome.
You see, the basic problem is most people, when they're working on their job, they get to thinking, you know, I really ought to be spending time at home with my family. And then when...
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to share this. We are talking about goal setting tonight. And guys, if you're just joining us, welcome. What we were talking about at the beginning before that video is how much goal setting has changed our business. So for Mike and I, goal setting is so important. And we actually, every single year, at our future president team retreat, which is actually where we're headed in January, we always set aside an entire day to set and set our goals for the year. What we do is we reflect on the year before, what went really well, what could have gone better, and we set our goals for the upcoming year, because we learned a long time ago that that is what makes us successful. And not just us successful, but that's what makes people successful. So we have to really talk about, guys, the people that are not setting goals. Why don't people set goals? You know, what is it that keeps people from setting goals, or really what keeps people from achieving those goals? But the main reason that people don't set goals, and Zig Ziglar talks about this, and the first one is fear. And I love the acronym for fear. It's false evidence appearing real. And if you think about that, we really, Zig Ziglar talks about that we perform in accordance with the image we have set in our mind. Right? So false evidence appearing real. And he tells a story that I absolutely love. It talks about, like, if somebody's going into a bank with just a handkerchief, you can rob a bank, right? So I can put a handkerchief over my face. I can walk in, I can put my finger in my pocket, and I can tell the bank teller to give me all the money in the cash register, and she will do it because it appears real, even though it is false. Right? And so there's so many things in our life that keep us stuck where we're at from that fear. So it's false evidence appearing real is the first reason that people don't have goals. The second reason is because of poor self-image. And what I love too about this, guys, is Zig Ziglar talks about that you can't even imagine in your wildest dreams that there's people out there that really believe in their mind that they can't graduate from college. They can't have that house that is up the street that is twice as big as theirs. They can't have the car of their dreams that they see every time they drive by. They wish for it, hope for it, but they don't believe in their soul that they actually can have that. And he tells a story, and I love it. And he talks about a friend of his. His friend's name was Tom Hartman. It was a gentleman that was at one of his lectures. And he talks about this guy, and he was very overweight. He was over 400 pounds, and he was talking about how he really worked on himself. He worked on his self-image. And one day he was standing after many, many months of lots of personal development, working on himself. He was standing there and he heard this little girl go, "Mom, look at that fat man." And he turned around to look for the fat man and he didn't see it. And so he didn't see that guy. And what he decided was, he was like, "Oh my gosh, she's talking about me." And at that moment, it was the moment that he realized that he, in his mind, was no longer the fat guy. He had already decided in his mind that he was skinny. And so he didn't see that person anymore. And it was that moment that things started to change for him. So the third reason that people don't have goals or don't set goals is they've never been sold on the idea of goals, right? When we are at work, our mind is at play, and when we are at play, our mind is at work. So many of us, if you have a regular job, how many of you like go and you're at a job, but you're thinking about your family and you're thinking about what you need to do when you get home and you're thinking about time with the kids and things like that? And then we come home and we're with our family and we're at play with our family, but we're thinking about what we need to do for work, which is no way to live our life, because then you never have a life where you're able to have that balance. So most of us don't have that quality of life because we don't have our goals set to where when we're at work, and when we're at play, we're at play. There was a study that they did at Yale that I love that he talked about. In 1973, they did a study at Yale measuring students' financial success and success in their life based off of what degree they were going for. The 3% that set their goals accomplished more than the 97 that did not. So 3% of those students at Yale actually wrote down their goals, actually had a plan for their goals, and those 3% actually accomplished so much more than the 97% of the students that didn't. And a lot of people, when you think about it, guys, a lot of us, and we were very guilty of this before Herbalife, we wake up and we go to work because we did it yesterday, right? We did it yesterday, so we know we need to do it tomorrow. We don't even really understand why we're going to work, right? So if we can figure out why we need to have our goals and why we want to set those, then we will be sold on the fact that we can work harder for that. And then the last reason that people don't have goals or don't set their goals is they don't know how. And I think this is the biggest opportunity that we have in Herbalife, is that most people do not know how to set goals. We were never taught in school, not something that we ever talked about in school. And so that is where we're here tonight to talk to you about how to set those goals. Do you have anything to add to that, Mike?
I just think that for us, we always, like she was saying, just to go back to where she talked about every January after the big event that we go to, we always sat down and wrote out our goals. And we wrote them out, guys, so we could visually see them, right? If you just go, hey, I want to be, and if we're talking about Herbalife, we could say, hey, I want to be active world team by next July or something like that. Or, hey, I want to be meal team. If you don't really write it down and really put it in, put it out there to where you know exactly when you want it, put a date on it. I mean, we would actually come home and write our goals on our mirror, so we'd see it every single day. And when you see something every single day, it just starts manifesting. So that's kind of some of the things that we kind of started doing to just kind of get in the habit of creating those expectations for our own selves, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we go on to talk about how we set our goals, we want to share a quick 2-minute video with you from Zig about why.
I want to talk a little bit about goals on the line of how do you lose 37 pounds and write a book. I'm just going to kind of give you that as an example. For 24 years of my adult life, by choice, I weighed well over 200 pounds. I say by choice because, you see, I have never accidentally eaten anything. I mean, it's always been deliberate. And when I choose to eat too much today, I have chosen to weigh too much tomorrow. You can choose to set goals and realize your potential, or you can choose not to set them. Now, if you choose not to set them, you got to understand that the consequences are not going to be good down the road. For 24 years, I was going to lose that weight. As a matter of fact, in 24 years, I lost several thousand pounds of weight. How many of you already know exactly what I'm talking about? But it wasn't until I wrote it down, put a date on it, listed the obstacles I had to overcome, identified the people, the groups, the organizations I needed to work with, spelled out a plan of action, set that time limit in there, and identified all of the benefits to me. It was only when I did that that the goal became a reality, and I lost the weight. For 10 or 15 years, I was going to write a book. You know anybody who's going to do just a whole lot of things, folks? I was going to write a book. But it wasn't until I got busy writing the book and writing the plans first before the book ever materialized. Now, if it sounds like I'm trying to sell you on having goals, how many of you are getting close already? How many of you are becoming convinced right quick like that you need to have those goals? There's no question about it. The immortal J.C. Penney many, many years ago said, give me a stock clerk with a goal, and I'll give you a man who will make history. But give me a man without a goal, and I'll give you a stock clerk.
Yep. So that's the importance of goals and why we share with you tonight that importance. Okay. All right. Okay. So guys, so what's the difference? I asked you, what's the difference between somebody who in Herbalife that's really successful versus somebody who maybe is not necessarily as successful as they could be, or is not successful yet in the business, or never become successful, right? So they're in Herbalife for 20, 30, 40 years and are still in the same place they were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And the difference between that person that's successful and someone that isn't in Herbalife is our thinking in our direction. That's what makes the difference, our thinking in our direction. And it's hard to have a direction if we don't know what direction we're going, right? So if I blindfolded you and set you out to shoot at a target and you could not see that target, you have no idea what you're shooting at. So the likelihood that you would actually hit that if I put you in the middle of a field is very slim to none. And there's some quotes that I absolutely love. One is, you know, most of us plan our vacations better than we plan our lives. And if you think about it, most of us spend more time planning our weddings than we do planning our marriage. Right. And so some of that is a little bit backwards. And what we need to look at is really what it is that we want to plan in our life and how we set those goals. So I'm going to talk to you about 7 steps that, and you heard Zig talk about them in there in that 2-minute clip. He talked about the 7 steps in goal setting and how we do that. And that first step is to state the goal. So if you never state that goal, how, like I was saying, how are you going to hit that target if you can't see it? And how can you hit a goal if you don't have one? So you really have to figure out what it is that you're going for. The second one is to set a deadline. So before we go on to step 2, I want you guys real quick just to think of one goal for 2020 for you and write that down. Go ahead and write it down. So state a goal. It could be a personal goal. It could be a business goal. It could be a physical goal, spiritual goal, whatever it is. So go ahead and write that down for step 1. And then step 2 is set a deadline. So guys, a lot of us will say, oh, I really want to get to press team, or I really want to lose 50 pounds, or I really want to pay off my house, or I really want to buy a new car. And those are all really great goals. But if we don't set a deadline for that of when we're going to accomplish it, the universe or God or whoever it is for you hears, I want to do this. But it could be 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road before that materializes for you because there's not a deadline. So next to that goal that you guys wrote down for step 1, I want you to put when you're going to accomplish that by. And that deadline should be specific, right? So you don't want to put like, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2020, right? You want to be specific. I want to lose 20 pounds by March 31st of 2020. Right? Be as specific as you can with that deadline. The step 3 is identify the obstacles. And guys, this is really important because I had step 1 and step 2 down when I started doing goal setting. I was super clear on that. But when it got to step 3, that's never something I ever thought about before I started listening to Zig Ziglar. But here's the key. If you know what the obstacles you're going to run into are, you're able to go ahead and move on to step 4, which we'll talk about in a second. So real quick, I want you to think about that goal you set down, right? So let's stick with the 20 pounds, right? If that's my goal is to lose 20 pounds by March 31st of 2020, what are some obstacles that I could run into? So some obstacles could be holiday parties, right? Some obstacles could be not having enough time to go to the gym. Some obstacles could be not being able to afford health food, right? Like the best quality food, whatever those obstacles are. So try to think of 3 obstacles real quick for that goal that you guys wrote down, whatever that is for you.
It could even be like in your own house, you have that obstacle. You know, I'm working with somebody right now who their spouse is almost like sabotaging them for weight loss, right? So they're trying to lose weight and the spouse is almost sabotaging it. So you have to be careful with that as well. So it could be something as simple as right there underneath your nose.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, step number 4, identify the people, groups, and organizations that can assist you. And guys, this is so key. If you know what the obstacles are for your goal, again, whether it's your business, physical, financial, whatever it is, you know that there's individuals that can help you. And what I love about it is you're not alone. Like nobody's ever successful by themselves. There's always support systems along the way that help people. So you want to figure out who those people are. Who's those people that can support you so you can surround yourself with like-minded people? What kind of groups can you get into? These Monday night calls for your business are huge because this is a great way to surround yourself with like-minded people. Organizations, if you're looking at your business goals, the STSs and anything involved with Herbalife is huge in helping you surround yourself with like-minded people. So that number 4 is finding those individuals and groups and organizations that'll help you overcome those obstacles. You have anything to add to that?
No, I agree with that 100%.
All right, step number 5, list the benefits of achieving the goal. I love this, guys. You want to know why you're working for what you're working for, right? So you want to know why it is that you want to lose the 20 pounds. You want to know why it is that you want to get depressed. You want to know why it is that you want to buy that new house. What are the benefits of achieving that goal? And it's really personal for you. So whatever that is for you. So if we're sticking with the 20 pounds, losing the 20 pounds, what's the benefit of that? Are you going to be able to play with your kids more? Are you going to have more energy? Are you going to be able to feel better about yourself? Are you going to be able to create that the self-worth that we were talking about earlier? What are those benefits? So go ahead and take a second and write down 1 or 2 benefits of achieving the goal that you wrote down. And then step number 6, list the skills you need to acquire to attain the goal. So this is also really important. Sometimes we set a goal and we end up not achieving that goal because we never become the person we need to be to achieve that goal. So it's important to know what it is that we need to develop in ourselves so that we can achieve that goal. So you're going to think about a couple of those skills that you need to acquire. And if it's something if it's weight loss, those skills could be self-discipline. Those skills could be learning how to cook healthy. It could be learning how to find those people to surround yourself with. Whatever those skills are. In our business, if you don't know what skills it is that you need to attain to achieve your goal, that's where you go back up to number 4, and those individuals, the people or the groups that you've identified can help you figure out what those skills are that you need to acquire to attain your goal. Good?
Yep.
And then number 7, develop a plan. And then here's the key, right? So we have the goal, we've got all this figured out. Now how are we going to achieve it? So set the goal, and then you work back from there. Develop the plan on how you're going to get to it.
Now, for me, real quick, just to add to that. So the whole time she was going over this, I was thinking more of a business piece. She was talking about, losing weight or something like that. So it absolutely, all this pertains, the same thing happens when you're talking about a business goal as well. And let's just say you're sitting on the call tonight and you're like, hey, by December 2020, I want to be millionaire team, right? And like Tara said, you got to work backwards. So you can't just You can't just go, okay, in August, I'm really going to hunker down and I'm going to get those supervisors I need and I'm going to start hitting those cuts. You've got to start your plan, faster, right? So you need to have a goal of, okay, what do I need to do in the next week to get to that eventual goal, right? What do I need to do in the next month to get to that eventual goal? What do I need to do in the next quarter to get that eventual goal, right? You can't, just like the weight loss, if you're going to lose 20 pounds by March 31st, you can't wait till March 25th and go, okay, it's on, I'm going to lose this 20 pounds. It doesn't work that way. So make sure you're working backwards. I know, it's crazy.
Crazy. So yeah, and he's exactly right. So as you're working back on that goal, guys, you may find that you set a goal and you start working that plan and you're like, oh my gosh, I may need to change that date, right? I may need to change the specific date that I said, and that's okay. What you want to do is set a realistic, not a like crazy, super simple, but realistic. You're not going to go like, I'm not going to look at Mike and go, okay, by March, we're going to be at 20K president's team. You know what I mean? Or it can't be crazy. You got to work back. And then you either do one of two things. And I tell everybody this all the time, guys, you either change your sacrifice that you're willing to do to achieve your goal, or you change the timeline of that goal, right? So you work that plan back. Here that you see on the screen now is a list of different categories that you are going to want to set goals in. This is really every single year I set a goal in each one of these categories. And that's just so it gives me kind of an idea of different areas. So the first one is physical. The second one is mental. The third one is spiritual. The fourth one is social.
The fifth one's learning how to count.
The fifth one is family. The sixth one is career, and the final one is financial. And you may be somebody that wants to set multiple goals in each of those categories. And there's definitely some of those categories where I do set more than one goal. But I try to set at least one goal every single year in each of those categories that I'm working on towards that. And whatever it is for you guys, you want to really set down and figure out what it is for you that you can set aside time. So one of the things Zig Ziglar says is, when he talks about not knowing how to set that goal, the reality is to really set your goals, guys, and to be clear and to go through those 7 steps, it's going to take 10 to 20 hours to set your goals. If you have really lofty goals, it could take up to 30 hours to set your goals. But guys, what I'm telling you though, if you are willing to do that, by the time freedom you're going to get by setting those goals and having a plan, so when you're at work, you're at work, and when you're at play, you're at play, you're actually going to add at least 10 hours to every single one of your weeks for the rest of your life when you become really good at goal setting. So that's something to think about there. For me, I found this, I use a passion planner, and I don't know if anybody's ever used one of these before. I absolutely love it. I use this for my calendar, and I've downloaded a couple of the pages in it because I really like the way that it's set up. And I'm going to upload this to the website, guys, so you can see it. So if you're somebody who's like, I really don't even know where to get started, it walks you kind of through setting up, making goals, and kind of working backwards on that. So this is one of the pages on that. And then this is the other. It breaks it down for you on how to do webs, really to branch out and go, okay, what's my goal for 6 months? What's my goal for a year? What's my goal for 3 years? But again, it doesn't have to be this. It could be a pen and paper. Whatever it is for you, this is just super simple for me is what I've done with it. Mike, how do you typically do yours?
Well, first and foremost, you got to write it down. So when we're talking about all this, you have to write it down. You cannot just see it in your head and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You literally, what I was talking about earlier, you have to write down all your goals. I always tell people you got to write it down because you got to see it to believe it, and then you got to believe it to achieve it, right? So for me, if I don't write it down, it's not going to happen. I promise you it's not going to happen. But if I tell myself, hey, I'm going to have a brand new whatever car, we'll just say car, brand new car by April 1st, I've got to write that down. If I don't do it, then it's not going to happen. So for me, I'm just writing it down. I use just notebook paper. I don't go quite as fancy as Tara does, but I'll do this with our business too, guys. So for our business, I will take each of our supervisors and I'll write down them, and then I'll write down their distributors underneath them, and I'll start projecting out where I see them, each of them getting in the upcoming year. So I might say, okay, here's Don and Jeff. I've got them written down here. Here's so-and-so underneath them. Here's so-and-so that falls under them. And, oh, this person has 3 people under them. And I just write it all out so I can visually see the whole organization. And then from there, I can say, okay, this person has a great opportunity to get to active world team. This person has a great opportunity to get to world team, which is going to push Don and Jeff to get team. And you can kind of lay it all out that way. So that's kind of what we try to do,
That's
or at least
awesome.
me, for sure.
And what he's talking about too, like I said at the beginning of the call, guys, we've been blessed to be able to attend Future Press Team Retreat for the last 9 years of our business. And for us, that's just a really good time. We always extend it one day, and we spend one entire day together setting out our goals. And like I said, we go and we reflect over the past year. And like I keep our what we wrote out last year to review this year, right? So I'll take that with us when we go. And what I'll do this week, guys, we'll do a live on our team page, and I'll talk a little bit more on that live about exactly what we go over during that time that we're sitting down and going over. But guys, it's not a 30-minute we sit down and write our goals. It's hours. We sit down for hours and go over our goals, because once we do that, then we have the game plan to go out and conquer the year. And if we don't have that game plan, it's like somebody going to win the Super Bowl that just shows up on Super Bowl Sunday and they're like, yeah, let's see what's happened, right? Nobody does that. Nobody successful just shows up and says, let's see what's going to happen. So what I would love from you guys as we're winding this down is in our team Facebook page in the comments, either what we posted tonight or when we do our live this week, I would love to hear what some of your all's goals are. I would love for you to drop those in the comments for us so we can see what goals you guys have this coming year. If you guys have questions, make sure you let us know what those questions are. We're happy to answer those. And then here's our weekly team announcement. So we've got a really, really exciting call next week on December 30th. That call is going to be on social media. I'm so excited, with Miss Active World team member Dawn Manus and Miss President's team member Kelly Davis is going to be helping her with that next week. I'm so excited to learn more about that, because that is definitely an opportunity for growth for me. So Dawn, be ready to deliver, girl. I know you're going to do it. And then January 6th, we have our team recognition call. And then we've got on January 13th, that Future Press Team Retreat that I was talking about, guys. I'm so proud and so excited. We have so many team members there, with 4 new team members that are attending that event this year with us, and we're so excited. You guys definitely want to put that on your goals, is to qualify for the Future Press Team Retreat. I just saw the lineup, so those of you that are attending that this year, if you didn't see that email yet, the lineup of the speakers for that event is just absolutely crazy. You're not even going to believe it. Yeah. Don't miss out on our Nutrition Club training, guys. That's also in January. That is going to be down in St. Augustine.
There you go.
Yeah, I said it right. So you want to make sure you're attending that with us as well. If you're have anything to do with the Nutrition Club, it's going to be a great training. That information's right there. All of the promotions are right there. What the Foot Stomper here, guys, the new Welcome Back promotion, you really want to be pushing this with your people that have fallen off, either preferred members or distributors that may have fallen out. This is the best time for them to come back, because they don't have to pay anything to come back. The Herbalife is going to reinstate them. That's through the end of the year. You want to make sure you're using that time to get those people reinstated. And then, of course, I had to highlight Best Defense, because I have been overdosing on some Best Defense. If you go out in public Christmas shopping, you hear everybody hacking and coughing. This is such a great product. If you have not tried it, I highly recommend that you try it. So, Mike, what else do you have for them tonight?
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Everybody have a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas.
Yes. You guys have an amazing Christmas, and we will talk to everybody next Monday, and we can't wait to see everybody soon.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night.